Well, it's the evening, and a welcome to it. Welcome to yet another Technolive live stream. I hope you're all well. I'm Jack as always, and here's my oh no, my co-host isn't here. He's off having a little bit of time off. Anyway, you just got me today, and today I thought I'll do a little bit of admin. Okay, maybe admin isn't the most interesting thing to do, but no, this is something a bit different. So, Dan and I, we've got something coming up on the channel in a week or so's time. That's going to be pretty cool, pretty interesting, and it's such a big event that, well, we want to make some new Technolive intros. So you see this spinning thing on the screen right now where it says Technolive and you got the lovely coloured shapes? Yeah, we're gonna try and make something else today and see if we like it. And if we don't, then go back to this one, and if not, keep the new one. We'll see. It's all a learning process. Anyway, yeah, so today we are going to be creating a bit of computer-generated imagery, or CGI, or CG as it's kind of called nowadays. We're going to make it, well, as I said, a new intro, and we're going to do it in my favourite piece of software, Blender. And no, it's not for making fruit cocktails or fruit smoothies. No, Blender is, well, it's a 3D engine thing. It's quite complex. Anyway, here's some shapes. There's some shapes in your face right now. These currently, well, you may recognise these shapes. You may recognise them quite well. In fact, you'll probably recognise them even more if I press this button and I click play. Gonna get it now? If I pop back straight to... oh, that's a smooth transition. I mean, not quite. It's not perfect, but yeah. That's how I made these shapes. I made that intro all in Blender. And it's just a load of the sort of platonic solids. I've got a couple of weird shapes there as well, like a square donut. And, yeah, pyramids, or cones rather, prisms. And yeah, I just put out a load of different shapes into this sort of voidy area. And I can't remember what I did for this one, whether I... did I rotate the shapes or did I rotate the camera? Oh, I rotated the shapes, didn't I? And the camera stays still, so when you scrub through it. And of course that's just doing the sort of shapes. There's no colour involved until we click on each one of these. And I set the colour up. And so when it renders out like that. I would have loved to have kept the wireframe look for the actual intro, but unfortunately I didn't get around to working out how to do that, so I just kept them as the plain shapes. It's a shame because I really like the cartoony pop of having the wireframe, the lines done in as well. Oh well, maybe that's something to revisit for another version. Anyway, that's just the intro, and of course, to actually rendering it out, it takes a little bit of time for the computer to do it. But yeah, it looked like that, and you just render out every frame, and you get something cool. Anyway, I'm going to close that down because we've done that one. This is something I've been working on. A little bit surprise for later. I'll show you the finished product in a bit. Oh, I've actually frozen it up. No. That's probably for the best. Yeah. Anyway, let's just click File New. And yeah, make a start. If you haven't used Blender before, I warn you, it's a very complex piece of software. And what I really recommend is just going out there onto YouTube and picking up all videos covering it. You know, go in with something in mind like how to do fire in Blender, and then just follow every tutorial step by step. And you know, you might want to do how to do explosions in Blender. You just follow that step by step. And that's the easiest way of getting familiar with it. And you soon learn that over time you just build up all these skills using it without even realizing. But kind of cut, in a nutshell, Blender is this fantastic free piece of 3D software. It's been going for 20 odd years, I think. And they've actually made movies in it, which is pretty impressive. But it's more than just that. There's even a game engine inside here somewhere. Although they've recently updated the sort of user interface, and it's all lost on me now. I can't even find that anymore. And yeah, you can do some scripting. You can do all sorts. You can do animations. You can do video editing. But we're going to do some very basic stuff today, mostly because I'm not very good. I'm not very good at the complex stuff. I just like to keep things simple. So yeah, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to delete everything. Today's less of a follow-along thing and just a sort of relax and chat, see what cool designs we can come up with, what we're thinking for an intro. I will say this though, Blender, use a mouse. My goodness, use a mouse. A mouse with a middle click, a middle mouse wheel. That's it. You just need that. Otherwise, it's pain and misery. Try and use it on my other computer with the trackpad. Oh no. Anyway, so yeah, I kind of had an idea. So one thing I wanted to make was it ties into what I'm making it for, the event I've talked about and the event I'm teasing. There's a little bit of maze work involved because, what Dan and I like about our Minecraft mazes. Not only do we generate them as an algorithm, that's an old live stream you can go back and watch, but we also we did it in the Technolive as well. Oh, we've done mazes too many times. Anyway, I've knocked over my mouse. There we are. Yeah, so we're going to start with a maze because there's very much a maze theme going on. And I'm not really sure. I think what I'll do is I'll add a plane. Let's make that 30. Yeah, give us plenty of size to work with. And let's pop into edit mode. And where do they put subdivide nowadays? I don't like this new panel on the left. It's all it's very just not what I recognise. I liked it when it was more of a panel, less of all tools. Subdivide. Annotate, measure, no. Oh no, I'll have to go through keyboard shortcuts. So W, subdivide, and then bring up the subdivide menu. And let's have it in cubes. Can we go to 30 subdivisions? Oh, you can only go up to 10, apparently. Oh, you can go up to 30. What am I talking about? 60. I'm trying to get it to line up with the grid, actually. No, it's lining up in the middle. 58. No, I'm never going to get that perfect, am I? Let's go 30. And yeah, that should be plenty for just a little bit of a maze. And yeah, that's all I want for that. Yeah. Okay, so we've got a grid. I'm going to switch into faces mode so I can actually edit the faces. And yeah, let's make a maze. Okay. Let's start. Do my usual fare. Let's do it in grid style. So get my box select tool. Okay. And if I delete and dissolve faces, Yeah, that turns it into one face. Now, Blender veterans will probably be telling me off now for doing some sort of weird thing that you're not meant to do, some unspoken rule, but I don't care. It's just what I know. Oh. I've been using so many different pieces of software today. Trying to get the right keyboard shortcuts right in your brain is quite a mess, especially if you're going from one type of computer to the other. Okay, dissolve faces on that. I missed one square out earlier, but that's going to be the entrance, so I'm aware of that. We'll have another entrance here. Well, exit. I mean, entrance and exit are just the same thing, aren't they? Oh. See, this is why I should have done this on the other computer, the one without the dodgy keyboard that won't press the A button. There we are. So A selects everything, and then deselects it when you press it again. I just use that to clear my selections. So probably a nicer, easier way, but on a keyboard with a working mouse, keyboard with working mouse, on a keyboard with working keys, I just do press A twice. Okay, so we've got the exterior of the maze. What that means then is, what I can do is select all the exterior walls. If I type E to go into Extrude Mode, what a lovely word that is, extrude. I've never said it out loud, actually. Go into Extrude Mode, and let's extrude in the Z direction 3. No, it seems to be doing local instead of what I wanted. Extrude 3, 10, 5, 6, 6, 5.5, 5, 5, yeah, 5. It's not indecision, it's the creative process, don't worry. And yeah, just basically time to start making mazes. I'm just thinking of the best way of doing that. Unfortunately, I think it's just a case of yeah, choose a shape. Pick out shapes in the... Yeah, just kind of like pick out Tetris pieces and then dissolve those faces. Again, there's probably a much nicer way of doing this, but I don't care. So yeah, I'm using the C key on the keyboard to select the different faces, and I'm just dissolving them. See, this is why I need my A key to work. Just deselect everything. Come on. Is a Alt A? Ah. Alt A will select none. Okay. All new to me. Okay, so that's going to be a sort of T shape. Yeah. It's not very riveting conversation, this, but oh well. If I join that and that one in, I just didn't throw an error. We're on good terms then. You and I, Mr. Computer, or Mr. Blender, or Mrs. Blender. Okay. We'll go to here, and then we'll do not those. We'll do a standard. There needs to be a dictionary of maze terms. There needs to be a term for the maze that goes backwards and forwards in a zigzag. Not annoying, but you know what I mean. Yeah, we'll do it down this corridor with one more along, and then in, yeah, the teeth coming down to give it a sort of zigzag quality. I just realised I'm drawing them all out. Yeah, I don't want to dissolve faces because it'll mush them all together. That's not what I intended. Ah, crumbs. Oh, well, I'm going to have to... Oh, thanks, brain. Yeah, I'd have to do it one at a time, won't I? No, Alt-A. It's my fault for getting Alt-A existed. Oh, that should go over one more. Yeah, we've covered a lot of mazes on Technolive so far, but in all my research I've never worked out whether you're allowed to, you know, whether it's a wise idea to do a maze which varies the sort of path width. So what I mean by that is, oh, it's a bit hard to see on the screen, but, you know, grey on grey and all that. But when I do a path, I'm trying to make it as if I'm imagining it on a grid, not just all randomized. I'm not sure if that's good or bad. Maybe good for computers, maybe bad for human design maze. I said this was going to be the thing, didn't I? The inny outy part. Not that one. Actually, not those two. I need some soft music and can become like Bob Ross. Well, he didn't have any music, but the intro did. Okay, no, I don't want to dissolve those. Come on, Ray. I want to dissolve them one at a time, don't I? Yeah, dissolve faces. Dissolve faces. Nope, come on, come on. Actually, I do want those connected because otherwise there will be an infinitely small gap between them. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So I must remember to go back and dissolve any that have... Yeah, so... Yeah, when you have two sort of 3D shapes exactly next to each other, where one overlaps the other almost, that can actually make a... I wonder if we'll see it here, actually. If I raise at one of these points, let's bring that one up to 5 rather than 5.5. If I delete that face, yeah, you can see that weird flashing. That's because you've got two faces occupying the same space, which obviously doesn't work in real life. Because, well, can you have two things standing in the same place as each other? That would be quite messy. When you try and do it with 3D objects, you get this shimmering effect because the camera can't work out which one's in front. It's trying to display both of them at the same time, and does it with this weird interference pattern. So if I were to delete a face, it looks like I haven't deleted anything. I have. I've deleted the one that was causing the interference. So if I delete the other one behind it, then it goes hollow. So that's something I'll have to watch out for when I'm doing my maze. And I just tried to do Command Z rather than Control Z. Still thinking I was on a Mac. There we are. Okay, I'm not... I'm going to have to go in and fix that double face issue when I do the extrude for the whole maze. But in the meantime, I'm going to have to carry on like this. It's getting a bit tricky and chaotic with the way that the light's hitting it. I wonder if there's any easier way to... Oh, I could set up a alternate. Yeah, if I set up a material or start drawing with materials, start creating materials, then what I'll be able to do is I'll be able to colour the walls of the maze a different material. That should make it easier for my eyes. Because looking at this weird grid, especially on a smaller screen, oh my goodness, it genuinely hurts. It's like one of those optical illusions. So let's make a new material. Let's just check which render engine we're using. Yeah, I'm using the Eevee render engine. That's good. Let's just make it... Is there a nice, easy one? Diffuse. No, diffuse might take up too much. I'm not really sure what principled BSDF is, but that seems to be what everyone talks about, especially on web-based CGI. So I'm going to stick with that, see if that does something interesting. If you don't know something, try it out and see what you get. Okay, that's going to be the base colour. We're not going to have it metallic. Oh, we're not going to have it specular as well, apparently. I choose the wrong slider. Yeah, okay, so this is kind of like what I've talked about before on this channel with 3JS. You got the different sort of properties of a material. So metallic is how shiny it is, well, how reflective it is. Specular is hard to describe. It's kind of like a little glint. So as you can see, as I rotate it, it goes from dark grey to white grey in the middle to dark grey again. That's the specularness of it. And you can change the colour of that as well. Roughness, I believe, is how how much it scatters light, maybe? I don't know. Some of these I've never seen before. No idea what clear coat is. I suspect it's something like adding varnish to it. I'll have to try that one day. We got index of refraction. There we are. Thank you, brain. Index of refraction is how much a transparent surface bends light as light passes through it. Emission is how bright it is, how much light comes out of it. There's all this stuff. Anyway, I'm going to set up material 1. That's just going to be my walls, and hopefully, if I assign the walls that material, is that making a difference? It's making no difference. Right. Maybe if I make them bright red. Will that do it? Well, I used to do it in old Blender. Why is it not doing it in new Blender? Do I need the second material? Okay, so that one's material. Oh, only works in rendered mode. Well, that's annoying. Let's go textured mode, and then that should make it easier. And let's do the whole thing in the grey, and then pick out the walls in the red. And let's change it from red. That's a little bit too red for my liking. This is just for debug stuff. I'm going to actually delete these materials when it gets to actually doing something with them. Actually adding the colours in. Just because, well, I don't want everything to be this horrible green. But this is just for my eyes. To make life easier. See what I've done. And see what needs to be done. I mean, it is an extra step on the whole creating the maze thing, but oh well. Also, I just realised it kind of makes it look like hedge maze, which was completely unintentional, but hey, hedge mazes are cool. I don't think I'll be able to get a hedge maze on budget, though. They take a while to grow. And yeah, that makes it a lot clearer. You can see, what I was saying about the two things side by side. You can see there's a line there which showing that they are not connected, which means I'll have to go in and fix those when it comes to it. Anyway, I'm going to carry on making my maze. That one needs to go one further. So, dissolve those faces. Make them green. Actually, that was a mistake. Yeah, that was a mistake. That'll do better. Dissolve these faces. Make them green. Let's do... Yeah, let's do this weird boxy room design that I can sometimes use. I say sometimes use. I do make a lot of mazes for some reason. They're just cool, you know, in a computer science term of things. Yeah. Well, it is hard to make them yourself. Much easier to let a computer do it for you. Assign. Oh, forgot to dissolve them first. Now assign. There we are. Let's assign that one I've missed earlier. And let's do... We've got had too many L shapes. Let's do a... Yeah. Nice. Oh, forgot to hold shift whilst middle clicking. There we are. Okay, let's block that. Oh, okay, so this is why you don't be careful where you're clicking, because you just, you know, mess around your whole maze like that. Oh dear. Anyway, let's go into that mode again. Let's do a... Nope, come on. Nope. That needs to be over one, doesn't it? No, that should be fine. It doesn't have to be perfect. A lot of this won't actually be seen in the final render. I'm going to crop it very close on a very specific part, you know, for what I'm intending to do. But, you know, it's always, if you can make the effort now, I'd save yourself effort in the future. Never hurts. Yeah, let's have a little boxy room like that. Dissolve faces. Assign. Yeah. Oh, I need Dan here so I can talk about weird old computer trivia or something. I mean, there's nothing stopping me doing that now. Although I don't think I want to submit anyone to that torture. That being said, for Technolive, I am trying to arrange a visit to a very special museum that we have here in Swansea University. It's called the History of Computing Collection, and it's just filled with really cool old computer stuff. And what I'm hoping is to be able to take a camera in and then go and have a look and have a browse what's there and see what cool things we can find. And maybe challenge Dan to a couple of old Old video games. Nothing from the C64 though, because after yesterweek's, that's not a word. After last week's stream, I don't think I ever want to touch a Commodore 64 game again. That stream was an event, certainly. Let's do that. Whenever you watch, I mean, what I'm doing here is incredibly simple. You know, when you look at some of the really cool stuff that people make, even on YouTube for free, it's very impressive. But my stuff has always been quite simple. And even this takes a long time. Can you imagine what it'd be like to work at Pixar? I mean, they've got some really amazing equipment and some really fantastically talented animators. But working somewhere like that must be very interesting, very cool. I think there's even a plugin you can get that will make what's it called, software? Yeah, make Blender play nicely with Pixar's animation software. Their software is called RenderMan, and I think they've been using it since the 80s. I mean, they used to have oh dear, we're onto old computers. Pixar used to actually sell computers themselves that they made, and one of them was the Pixar Image Computer. And yeah, that one, I think they used about 500 of them to make the film Pocahontas. Anyway, even traditional animation like that with CGI elements, even that takes an incredibly long time. Not only to actually animate and design, but actually to render out as well. I mean, if I were to go and render this now, I don't think I can. I've not got a camera. We'll get to a camera soon enough. But if I were to render this out, it takes seconds. And this is a pretty old computer I'm using to do this. It's not the same computer I'm streaming from, actually, because that would actually melt the stream, I'm pretty sure. But, yeah, even so, that would... It takes quite a short time for me, but using the complexity of, what Pixar are trying to animate, my goodness, that takes yonks. That does. I've gone a bit lost. Oh, no, there we are. Forgot what I was doing for a second. I forgot what I'm doing now, actually. Not that. Definitely not that. Assign and see, that's gone uneven now, and I don't know whether that's a that's a interesting. Yeah, maybe if I do that. Kind of fixes it. Not perfectly, though. It's weird. When you're designing mazes, a lot of it, surprisingly, is a lot about consistency. Which you wouldn't have thought that for something that's meant to be really random, that's not meant to repeat. But I find, when it comes to designing a maze, you don't want to go too weird. You don't want to make too many... You don't want to have odd things, because you're going to come across an odd... You know, maybe a diagonal move that's not allowed or something like that. So, for example, if I were to sort of round this box off and trap people in, that wouldn't fit because the rest of the dead ends are being 1 square, yet this is 4 squares. It just doesn't feel right. So yeah, I would argue there's actually consistency needed in a maze design, as weird as that sounds. Dissolve faces, assign. Yeah, even that one, where I've got a kind of double junction, I don't like. But I'm going to have to stick with it because I don't want to take too long on this. And I think I'm running a bit out of time. Yeah, I'll have to do. Dissolve faces and assign. Those two are connected, so delete, dissolve faces. Ah, see, it's made that awkward double thing there. It just doesn't work, does it? You know, if you look at the whole maze, that bit just stands out as being wrong. That's not what I intended. Okay, what we can do is that. Yeah, that works better. And then what we can do is, yeah, join that one. Yeah, I was 1 square off, and that was the point that was making me go off. Like bad milk. Okay, so bring that up. Bring that up. Again, oh, awkward angles. We'll just do that and say it was intentional. Okay, yeah, why not? That's how we roll. Oh, and that one shouldn't be selected whilst I do that. Dissolve faces. Dissolve faces. Okay, I think I'm going to put an end to doing the rest of the maze. As I said, I only need a little bit of it, but I can always extend it when I've got time. Let's just do that one. Yeah. That gives us enough to go on. It's not going to be perfect, but as I said, better than out. So I'm just selecting all the faces here. All the hedge faces, that is. Oh, there's one that's not been done. Should probably solve that first. Dissolve the faces. Assign the colour. Actually, let's check for those first because I'll have to keep unselecting to fix those. Yeah, I think that's all we can do. So let's just click all the faces again. Not that face, just the hedge faces. Yum. Lovely. Excellent. And now let's extrude 6. 5. 0.5? It was 5.5, wasn't it? Yeah. And there we are, we got a maze. Kind of. Okay, so I've got plans for this. First of all, let's take the whole object. And let's rotate it 90 degrees. Yeah, so it's facing the right place. Oh, hang on. I've changed the origin somehow by doing that. Mesh, transform, no, snap. No. No. Okay, let's go back into object mode. Let's change the origin to be 3D cursor. There we are. That's where the origin's meant to be. So back in, what's it called, mode? Yeah, so if I select the whole thing and I rotate around the Z-axis for 90 degrees, why is the rotation off? That's not the center, is it? So yeah, that's not the center. Why is it think? Oh, it's centering around the one I clicking on. That's why. Thanks, brain. There we are. Okay, that's nice then. So yeah, I'm going to set up the camera around about there-ish, wherever looks, you know, aesthetically pleasing. I mean, it's not my best maze, but it's better than Nout. That'll do. Yeah, that'll do. I'm going to set up my camera here. You know, choose very carefully what I want from it. And then what I'm going to have is I'm going to have the shapes that I've used previously, you know, the lovely coloured shapes, and they're just going to go whizzing through the maze. You know, going from one exit to one exit and making stuff like that. Sorry, a big stretch. I'll also take the opportunity to have a glug of water. Water is great. Anyway, let's set up that camera. Let's add... No, I'm in edit mode. Let's add camera and find where on earth the blooming camera is. Okay, the camera's in the floor, as always. Okay. Selecting the camera is a case of choosing a nice bit of turf. Yeah, this one's quite open. Also, I'm not quite... I have to choose whether I want it in perspective or orthographic mode. So perspective means it looks like that. It looks all 3D-ish. But if I switch it into orthographic, it becomes flat. And you have to zoom out a lot. Yeah, I prefer perspective. It's more visually impressive than just a just a normal camera. I'm also going to change the focal length to kind of get the right. So if we go 100mm focal length, and then move further away. No, I want really extreme. Well, let's go 300, and then move really far away. Now I'm going the wrong blooming direction, aren't I? Let's change that back down to 20, and let's zoom in loads. No, oh, I've messed it all up. There we are. Oh, come on. Maybe 20 is too small. Let's go 40. Yeah, that's what I want. I want to see the edges. And when you change the focal length, you get to see the edges a lot more. Yeah, that's right. And we can add some shadow to the edges as well. Do I want to do materials first or do I want to do animations first? Let's do materials. So we're going to need some light. Let's add in a sun. Okay, go to camera mode. That's alright. Might need to change it from filmic or whatever it is. if I can find it. Color management. I hate that they've added this filmic thing. It always messes up my, judging what my screen's doing. I just prefer standard, something I can work with. And if we select the sun as well, and make the sun more powerful. If only we could do that in real life. Yeah, let's make it 6 times its strength. That may be a bit bright actually. Let's make it 4 times. Still a bit bright. No, that's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm kind of looking for that weird off-whitish. It's not really sure where it's going. What I will do is I will budge the camera over, so there's more places for the shapes to go that's not going to be on screen. Yeah, that'll do. It's not perfect, but you know, what can you do in life? Let's sort out the actual materials of this plane, though. So I'm not going to use green. I'm going to go straight white. Let's actually put it as FF. Yeah, I'm kind of looking for that weird sort of off colour. Oh, I like that. That's moody, that is. I just realised it's starting to look a little bit like the logo for Christopher Nolan's film company. That's not my intention. Oh, it'll be different when I add the shapes in, surely. Yeah. Okay, this one. Let's turn the specular. Oh, that's not making as much of a difference as I thought it would. Roughness up? No, that's just going to be pure white, isn't it? Tell you what, let's add the shapes in and see what they do. So let's add in a mesh cube. Let's bring the cube to kind of the right place, the entrance of the maze. Ooh, zooming in and out there. Okay, well, that cube, I'm going to have it at... let's move that up by 1. Let's move that by 2, actually. Yes, it's kind of floating, and that should add some shadows. And it should make, shadows look extra cool. Move that there. Oh, I'm scaling by the origin again. There we are. Okay, so what I'd quite like to do is get the shape to rotate sort of randomly as it's going around. I think that's something we can wait for later, though. Let's give it a quick material. I've only got 10 minutes left. This took far longer than I expected to make the maze. My apologies. Let's give it a new material. And, well, one thing when you're designing things like logos and all sorts of things like that, it's very important to kind of get the right theme. And I've always... Oh, that's the wrong keyboard. I've always made sure... I mean, Technocamps has its own theme, doesn't it? You've seen the colours on the website. And we got different names for the colours. Whenever you design something, it's always important to keep to a theme. So I'm going to keep to a theme of having my shapes being the same coloured as they were yesterday. Yesterday? Yeah, for the last logo. And that shows a kind of continuous thing. So I'm going to... The name of the shape... The name of the colours are raspberry, yellow and green. I'm going to start with the green. And the code for the green is... let's go base color. Let's put in this hex. Actually, I'm not going to use... I think there's an easier way, if I remember how to do it. Yeah, if we go into shader editor, we can actually just send it the direct RGB value, and that should, yeah, make it nice. You know, and not messing around with any kind of different shading effects or anything like that. So this is 8DB403. It's my favourite Technocamp's colour, yet no one else uses it. It's really annoying. And also I just got rid of it by mistake. 8DB403. There we are. And that's I'm just sending that colour straight to the material output. I'm not doing anything fancy in between. Like you can do all sorts. You can do, you know, I can mix it with being, I don't know, shiny or glossy or made out of glass, which would be a disaster. But it'd be cool. And that's how you do really cool, you know, slightly see-through things. But I'm just keeping it to my style. There we are. It doesn't look great from here, but when we have it whizzing around, it should look alright. Okay, let's get it whizzing around. So I'm going to select it. I'm going to make sure I'm on frame 1 of the timeline. And I need to think of its path. So it's going to go there, then there, then there, then there, then there, then out. So, come on. Come on, eyes. If we put it where it starts, let's create a keyframe. So a keyframe is just telling the computer that this is where I want it to start. We're going to set location keyframe. They were called keyframes because what would happen is when you used to make cartoons, the head animators, you know, the people actually in charge of writing the story, would just draw out the, you know, the plans. And what they do is they draw out the storyboard. So it's, you know, Mickey Mouse might be, if he's picking something up, he might start, you know, doing, just standing there. Then the next frame he's grasping the hammer or whatever he's picking up. Then the next frame he's holding it aloft. Those would be the keyframes, and then you send that off to the animators and they do all the in-between bits. So do the actual bit of Mickey Mouse bending down to pick it up and then wrap his fingers around it and so on. We're just doing that with a computer. So I've told it to start there. Then I'm going to say in 15 frames time, which is... actually, what is my frames per second? 24 frames per second. Let's change that to 30 frames per second. So in half a second, which will be at 15 frames, I want it to be here. So let's actually move it over. So GY. No, it's not in the Y-axis. GX. There we are. Move it around about there-ish. And at 15 frames, we can insert a new location. Then this one is going to take slightly longer than 15 frames, so 33 frames. Let's G in the Y direction. I'm going to insert a location frame. And then this one over here, that's going to do it in the space of 5-ish frames? Yeah, 5-ish frames. Insert location. I keep forgetting to press shift. And then it's going to go up a little bit, so another 5-ish frames. Yeah, it's close enough. And 10. It doesn't have to move smoothly for me. I don't really mind. It just needs to travel through this maze. Insert location. A lot of tiny moves here, but oh well. GX. Insert location. And then in 10 frames, just over 10 frames, I'll go GY. That's out of the view of the camera, so that should be fine. Okay, so this is going to be very rough. We haven't fiddled with any of the settings, but it should go like that. It was a bit fast, actually, wasn't it? Well, let's actually let's fiddle with the settings. So I'm going to go into animation view, keep that as 3D viewpoint, and I like this one to be my curve editor, graph editor. There we are. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select. I'm not going to select the Z location because that is just not a thing to worry about. Because we've not moved it up, we've only moved it left and right. Now I'm going to select all of these. And yeah, let's just move him that way so it takes longer for the wall. It's not doing that smoothly. Oh, crumbs. No, we can scale it in the X direction, can't we? Ah, there we are. That's nicer. So scale in the X and then move across. Yeah. And if we go to the top view, no, the camera view, and give it a good old play. Oh, yeah. That's nice. Oh, I like that. Okay, I'm happy with that. I was hoping to get a lot more done today, but I ended up faffing around far too much with the maze. But what we can do is render that out very quickly and see what that looks like. So let's see what one frame that looks like. Not very impressive. I don't like that framing. I need to change where the camera looks. But, you know, it's on the right lines. Maybe when I do the rest of the maze, I'll find a bit that looks a bit more, you know, aesthetically pleasing than that. If we quickly render out the whole animation. Ooh, come on. So yeah, believe it or not, it's actually doing something in the background there. Kind of. Whilst it's going ahead doing that, I did tease something a little bit earlier, something that we were talking about. And yeah, I would like to introduce that now. This is the first... it's not even a teaser trailer, it's just a little teaser for what we're looking at doing in a week and a bit's time. So, without any further ado, let me introduce you to Nightmare at the Castle of Logic. So yeah, we've got a big event going on, Technolive. We are doing this in partnership with the Wrexham Hub for Techno Camps. And what we are doing is... well, I don't want to give away too much. I will let you know that next week you will find all the details there. Yeah, next week we will be having a special stream at Thursday. At Thursday? That's not a word. On Thursday at 4:30. Same place, as always, the Technocamps YouTube channel. If you want to be reminded of that, remember to like and subscribe. That's not just me, you know, trying to get more likes. That's actually how YouTube's algorithm works for you. And making sure you get the stuff that you want. And yeah, once you do that, you may be reminded, especially if you hit that bell thing. That bell is so annoying. I just want to be reminded about everything I subscribe to. Anyway, enough complaining about YouTube. So Saturday the 21st and Sunday the 22nd August, we have an event on, something interesting. I hope you will be there with us, enjoying it. It is interactive. either way, that's something to look forward to. If you want further details, tune in to Technolive next week, Thursday at 4:30. In the meantime, let's have a little look to see what's been going on with our render. So it doesn't look like anything's happened. It's just finishing up as frame 180. Okay. What point did I tell it to stop? I can't remember. Oh, it stops at frame 250. Didn't need to do that. I made it go on too long. We can actually cancel that. Let's cancel it at frame 200. Yeah, and I'll try and lower that up in the background. In the meantime, let's take a little look at our old logo. Oh, I will see. If the maze one turns out nicer, this may be getting replaced. Feel free to mention down below in the comments if which one you prefer. I'll take that into consideration. Of course, I am tinkering with these all the time, so you might find other ones turning up. But yeah. Oh, VLC has crashed. I can't show you the final render result. Hang on. Did it even save? No, it put in my blooming temp folder. Ugh. Where is the temp folder? Oh, I have to go all the way into my C drive. Oh my goodness. Blender, you have failed me today. Oh. Okay, so yeah, interesting thing has happened here. So I forgot to tell it that I wanted it as a movie. Instead, I set it as an image, which means that, well, oh dear. Yeah, it's exported it as an image, and yeah, every frame is an image. So if I go along enough frames. Has it actually? Oh, there we are. It's coming. It's coming through. Yeah, we can actually see the cube going up, image by image. Oh, I was hoping to have a nicely rendered movie and all that gubbins, but no, it's decided it's gonna do it image by image. Oh, and I pressed back a little bit. But hey, you can actually see, you know, all the different frames that the computer's worked out in between my keyframes. So it's got that going for it. And there goes the cube off the top of the screen. Bye, cube. Yeah. Oh dear. And yeah, in case you need a reminder, this is what it should look like. Ah, well. Anyway, I'm going to carry on working on that. I might scrap the whole thing if I don't like it. Who knows? That's the creative process. You keep building and building on something, you think, actually, you know, that was better than before, and then just delete the whole thing. So that might turn out nice, it might not. Who knows? Keep an eye out for next week, where you get more details about our nightmare at the Castle of Logic. In any case, I hope you enjoyed. Hope you have a lovely evening, and see you next week. Ta-ra, everyone.